I'm doing so much better than you ever thought I would. Got my own place, my own space to think and dream and plan. Don't need as long to realize I do not need a man. I used to need you, but then I finally learned. I used to want you, but now the tables turned. I used to love you, but now it's your turn to squirm. 'Cause I'm saying goodbye, and I won't wait for your return. So get out and stay out. I finally had enough. Don't kiss me on your way out. You wouldn't move me much. You used me, abused me. You cheated and you lied. So get out and stay out. I'm taking back my life.
Nice. Well done, Sierra.
Thank you.
Really well done. I love your focus from the top of it all the way through. Your focus is really good. I'm wondering if when you get into the second section where the tempo picks up a bit, yeah?
Yes.
If you can find more joy, more joy in saying, I don't need you after I don't need a man.
Yeah.
Let me see a little joy in that, as opposed to the anger still. Find the other color.
Absolutely.
I don't need you, and that way the riffs, when you're riffing, you find the joy in all that, the riffing that you're doing with a smile.
Okay.
I'd like to try that. Yeah? You understand what I'm trying to say?
I'm sorry.
You understand what I'm trying to go for?
Yes, sir.
So
yeah.
that the whole thing is not it's not you're doing more than one color, but they're all on the darker side.
Okay.
I'd like to see some joy now that you're free. You don't need this, so let me see that joy. And the riffs will take you there, that joy, and yeah?
Yes. Would you like me to start at that section?
I'd like to take from the top.
Okay. Well, it's funny how you waltzed in here, assuming I'd come back. Well, let me tell you something. You are way off track. Can't you see I'm different? Or are you still that blind? No, you stand there and you take it. There's no love to hide behind. Well, I am proud to tell you, I'm really feeling good. I'm doing so much better than you ever thought I would. Got my own place, my own space to think and dream and plan. Don't need as long to realize I do not need a man. I used to need you, but then I finally learned. I used to want you, but now the tables turned. I used to love you, but now it's your turn to squirm. 'Cause I'm saying goodbye, and I won't wait for your return. So get out and stay out. I finally had enough. Don't kiss me on your way out. You wouldn't move me much. You used me, abused me. You cheated and you lied. So get out and stay out. I'm taking back my life.
Yeah. Okay, talk to me. How did that feel?
It just felt so much better. I think it felt a little bit more authentic, just the text, because she started saying like, I'm feeling so much better. And so I think that really resonated with me, and I think just drove me throughout the rest of the song and gave it, I think, more of like an arc and a drive rather than sitting in that.
Agreed. When you're riffing, and you're riffing fiercely, mind you, this is hard. Try not to, I'm losing your face. I want to see you. I want to see that joy. And I know we all want to go there, that pop thing. We all want to do that, but bring it down if you can. You don't have to be here, but bring it down so we can see your face, because right now I'm getting this.
Okay.
When you're riffing, so I can see the joy.
Yeah.
The joy. I liked your arc better. I would love for the beginning of it, for it to be almost you realizing it as you're saying it. Granted, you already figured it out, and that's why you're making statements to him. But I would love to see a slight, you're seeing it for not the first time, but you put it all together.
Yes.
And you want him to, you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
More the planning of seeing, this is what happened, and this is what I thought, and just a little bit adding that. Do you have one more, yeah?
I'm sorry?
You have one more to give me one more?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, great.
Well, it's funny how you waltzed in here, assuming I'd come back. But let me tell you something. You are way off track. Can't you see I'm different? Or are you still that blind? No, you stand there and you take it. There's no love to hide behind. Well, I am proud to tell you, I'm really feeling good. I'm doing so much better than you ever thought I would. Got my own place, my own space to think and dream and plan. Took me this long to realize I do not need a man. I used to need you, but then I finally learned. I used to want you, but now the tables turned. I used to love you, but now it's your turn to squirm. 'Cause I'm saying goodbye, and I will wait for your return. So get out and stay out. I finally had enough. Don't kiss me on your way out. It wouldn't move me much. You used me, abused me. You cheated and you lied. So get out and stay out. I'm taking back my life.
Well done, Sarah. You took those notes brilliantly. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Anything you want to say?
I've been doing this song like at school, and it's been done in several like my musical theater classes, but I've never had any professor give me the note of like making it more joyous, and I just really love that. I just really love that. So thank you for that.
No words, no words. Well done. Really, really, really well done. Thank you. Thank you. All righty now. Who's up next?
Let's go ahead and have Drew go next.
Okay.
Also, while Drew is getting ready, I just wanted to let everybody know that's participating. The 3 that are performing for us today have been national finalists that have attended the Jimmy Awards in New York City. So if you have any questions for them as well, we would be happy to take those and ask them questions too.
Are you ready for me?
It's on you, yes.
But wouldn't it be fun to share the weather in her eyes, her hair, her footsteps as she flies? everything you know is true, and everything you want to do, and everything that makes you you. Light against the night, and nothing's black and white. But you're wandering, you're wandering, you're wondering what to do. You're wondering, you're wondering, you're wondering if it's true. Nothing's gonna happen. Nothing has to happen.
Well done, Drew.
Thank you.
This one's going to be hard because my connection, I was in and out of you, unfortunately, a little bit. I like this choice of song for you, more so than what we had talked about before. I want you to do it again. I want to see more confusion, so to speak. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
Okay, more confusion. I'm seeing you thinking about the notes a little bit. You've got this. You've got these notes. Let that go.
Okay.
If that's not the case, that's what it looks like to me.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? You've got this. I'd rather see you, the confusion of what's going on, because obviously you're wondering, what's going to happen? Is this going to happen with her? Is it not? You've never been in this place before in your life. Well, since do you know the story? Drew? Do you know the story, the context of this story?
Yes.
Where the song comes in the context?
Yes.
Okay. Since you lost your wife, you haven't had this feeling before. This is new, right? I need to see that confusion of where that's coming from.
Okay.
You ready to give me one more?
Yeah.
Okay.
A second here.
No problem.
But wouldn't it be fun to share, whether in her eyes, her hair, her footsteps as she climbs the stair, a shadow in her light. But everything you know is true, and everything you want to do, and everything that makes you you, collides against the light. And nothing's black and white. But you're wondering, you're wondering what to do. You're wondering, you're wondering, you're wondering if it's true. Nothing's gonna happen. Nothing has to happen.
Well done. Talk to me. What do you feel?
I stopped listening to myself sing,
Mm-hmm.
and I started to get it more in tune with the story and just focusing on the story instead of you know, thinking about the notes, which I know I have. I mean, like, I know I can do them. I don't know. That sounded wrong.
I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it just felt so much more clear to me. I don't know. Yeah.
Okay, what I want you to do, not now, this time, but for any songs you're doing, and this one, because it's a good song for you, do the lyrics as a monologue.
Okay.
Talk it through. Tell the story.
Okay.
Then add the music to it. But telling the story as if it were a monologue. I know that makes sense to you. You're a good actor. You can do this. Because the second time, it was clearer the story you were trying to tell, for me at least. It was clearer to me. Well done, sir.
Thank you.
Well done. How you feeling?
Feel good. I feel
Okay.
good. Thank you so much for giving us feedback and being here and all that.
Not a problem. Not a problem. Next up.
Perfect. Next up, we have Lauren.
Hello.
Hi, Lauren.
Mama's contented and ton accepts what he gets. Happy for tea in their cups and the holes in their mitts. Happy to have what they have and to stay where they are. They never even look up at the sound of a car. A stranger racing down their beach, racing to places I was meant to reach. My stranger, one day will arrive. Your car will stop and in the hopping off will drive. Will drive.
Well done, Lauren.
Thank you.
Well done. Okay. Talk to me. What are you thinking about?
Yeah, I think my biggest, because I do think about the context of the show, but I feel like I'm most successful with this song when I am thinking about something in my life that personally drives me, like a dream of my own, or so I try to have a touchstone from my own personal life to connect to the song, because it's there's so many stories that can be told with it. So that's
good. So who's the stranger, or what's the stranger?
Yeah, recently when I've been working on this song, I've been thinking about not so much like a specific person, but just like the fact that I'm going into my senior year of college, and like there's so much more in my life that's going to happen within the next year that I'll be reaching. So that's what I've been playing with, for sure. Yeah.
Okay. All of that is good, and that reads very, very well from what I'm seeing. I want you to do it again, obviously. All of your emotion and the hand gestures are fine. Can you find that same energy without rocking?
Yeah. Yep. That is a habit of mine.
Kind of knew that one, but that's okay. Try to get, you don't have to be stone still and, you know, doing gestures, but try to keep yourself, if you can, in one place and still feel all that emotion and seeing. I would love to be able to see a little bit more in your eye, the dream that you're reaching for. I want to see it, if I could see it. Does that make sense to you?
Yes, it does.
I'm sorry, say that again?
Yes, it does.
Okay, cool.
Mama's contented and ton accepts what he gets. Happy for tea in the cups and no holes in their nets. happy to have what they have and to stay where they are. They never even look up at the sound of a car. A stranger racing down their beach, racing to places I was meant to reach. My stranger, one day will arrive. Your car will stop and in a hopping off will drive. Will drive.
Well done. Well done. Talk to me. How did that feel now?
Yeah, I think just like grounding myself more just helps like fall into something that I connect to better. And then also thinking about
Yes.
seeing it through my eyes, and like
Yeah.
visualizing what I'm trying to reach just drives the song forward more than the first
Yes.
time. Yeah.
True. 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 Well done. And nice power, lady.
Thank you.
Thank you. Taylor?
Yes. Before we go on with questions that Kevin can answer, more things that he can talk about on the audition process, I want to go ahead and have each of the three performers introduce themselves so that everybody knows who you are, what high school you attended, where you attend college, if you attend college, and what song you performed today. So Sierra, let's start with you.
Hi everyone, my name is Sierra Lancaster and I graduated from Millard North High School in 2018. I currently am a BFA musical theater major at the Boston Conservatory at Berkeley in Boston, Massachusetts. And sorry, so what was the song we sang. I sang Get Out and Stay Out from 9 to 5, the musical.
Great, thanks Sierra. Drew, how about you?
Hi, my name is Drew Sinnard. I graduated from Kearney High School last year in 2019. I will be attending the University of Nebraska Wesleyan this upcoming fall. And what I sang was Wandering from the Bridges in Madison County.
Great, thanks Drew. And Lauren, how about you?
Hi, I'm Lauren Johnson, and I graduated from Bellevue West High School in 2017, and I am a junior at Viterbo University getting my BFA in musical theater, and I sang Waiting for Life from One Song is Silent.
And all three of you were incredible from my perspective, from my side. Absolutely incredible. So
Agreed.
little for me to critique, honestly. So little, because you've got it. You've got it. You know what you're doing. Always go, I think, personally, I always think, always go back to reading your lyrics as a monologue. Tell that story first. And realize, first of all, realize the story you're telling before you try to sing it, because you'll get so much more out of it. And even after you started singing it and you start getting into everything you're going to do with it, go back and do the monologue again. You may have missed something. You may have lost something. That's all I got.
That's great, Kevin. Thank you. We do have a few questions. So should we go
Okay.
into the Q&A, or do you have anything more to say about the audition process?
No, things may come up in the questions. So
Perfect.
we're good.
Well, we have a question. When you select a piece, should you choose a vocal piece that challenges you vocally or more that shows off the areas that you're strongest in?
You want to show off, I think. You want to put your best foot forward. If you've been working on something that challenges you, that's great to do that outside. Once you've mastered it, sure, bring it into the audition process. But when you go into that room, you want it to be your best foot forward. If you think you can hit that A, let's say if that's high for you, you think you can hit that A, you've hit it a couple of times, I wouldn't, but you're not sure, Always put your best foot forward. As I say, try to use something that you know very, very well, as opposed to something that you've just learned last night for an audition.
That's great. Thank you.
Mhm.
And then another question that we have, let's see, when prepping for an audition, how should you plan to incorporate movement into your piece?
Ah, it's best to stay as stationary as you can. That does not mean you cannot take one or two slight steps to your left or your right or forward or back if the lyric dictates that, or the emotion of the song dictates that, in terms of that kind of physicality. In terms of hand gestures, it's best to keep them as minimal as possible. There's nothing wrong with, if you're trying to search, if it's that kind of a song, if you need to be confused a little bit, I wouldn't do all of this, mind you. For example, let's say in Sierra's number, the idea of for hand point, for fingers going, this idea, you're not here. Those things are fine. That's fine. Wide arm gestures when you're feeling that emotion is great. Try not to do, you can't see me, but try not to do the arms doing this thing to the side constantly. It's very amateurish. It's very new to the business. When you're on stage, chances are you wouldn't be doing that. You need to live the lyric of the song. And your gesture should be accordingly, as if you are performing it on stage. Granted, you won't be able to move, perhaps, the way you are on stage. So try to make it as stationary as you can. If you can work that out, that's best.
Thanks, Kevin.
Sure.
These are great. So to be prepared for an audition, what should you bring with you? What are the things you should bring?
Quite often, as I said, they will supply you with a song that you need to learn for them, as well as the sides, your audition material. Always bring your book of the songs that you have rehearsed, that you know, in case they say, do you have anything else? Or say they ask, what are you going to sing? I'm going to sing da-da-da-da. Do you have something else? Yes, let me see your book. Have your book available to them. Now, little trick that I myself and a lot of other actors use. If there's something in that book that you don't want to sing or you cannot sing today because it's too high or too low or for whatever reason, take it out of the book before you get there, because chances are they'll want that one that you just don't feel like you can sing. Only have in your book what you are capable of singing at that time, at any given time when you come in for an audition. Quite often, not quite often, but there are the times where they may ask you to, you may be moving afterwards, dancing afterwards. So you need to have the proper attire for that, the proper shoes for that, but you will know that ahead of time as to whether or not you need to bring that stuff with you. But in terms of your active material, always have a resume and a headshot with you, just in case they still need one if they don't have one already, or they want another one. Chances are they already have one, but have that just in case, and your book, and be ready.
Great. In terms of the book, how many songs should you have in your book, you know, at any given time when you go to an audition?
I would say somewhere between 5 and, let's say, 8. Different styles, different tempos, different feels, so they have a choice. Hopefully all things that you are proficient in. My book, I think totally I probably have something like 20 or 25 songs in there, but I pull them all out depending upon what it is I'm going in for, in case they want to see something else from my repertoire. I'll pull things out that are not appropriate for this show.
Great.
But I will also keep in things that are a different style that I do well, in case they go, oh, well, let me hear this. Oh, okay. Can be completely different from the style of the show, but it's something I know I do well, so I will keep it in there.
That's great.
I'll have a question for the folks that are in the chat, and then one for Kevin. For all the students that are observing and in the chat, the question I have for them is, what do you find to be the most challenging thing about an audition, about the auditioning experience? Anything from when you first get there to the audition itself to what you do afterwards. What do you find to be the most challenging thing? And then, Kevin, the question I have for you is, oftentimes, you know, myself as a performer, or at the same time, if I was working with other students, one of the things that they often ask or that they often bring up is, oh, I really want to find an audition piece that they've never seen before, or something that's just truly unique. And others feel like they want to do one of the gold standards of musical theater, and they consider those songs, you know, to be so overdone that they couldn't possibly showcase themselves or do something new with that work. Do you face that as a performer, or what would your advice to be to someone who is always looking to kind of have the great piece of new content, as opposed to strictly just focusing on whatever piece they have and doing it the best as possible?
I think you should always use, going back to what I said, use something that you know you do well, that you are very, very familiar with. Now, there are so many new songs coming out in all the new shows. If you can find something that is apropos for you and that you do really, really well, go ahead, work it out, learn it, get it done. But also know that because it's something new and current, others may be doing that as well. There was a period, this is going to go way back, in my time where everybody sang Corner of the Sky. Nobody wanted to hear Corner of the Sky again when you walk in the room, and they'd say, what are you going to sing? Corner of the Sky. Do you have anything else? Keep that in mind. A song may be overdone, and they, behind the table, may be tired of hearing it. There's nothing wrong with finding something that is not well known. Be careful of how obscure a song is, how out in the world, how unusual, that's the word I'm looking for, how unusual a song may be. It may be too far out for the audition. There's nothing wrong, as I said, with finding something that's obscure or is not done very often. Something older, perhaps, that you can do a new twist on, or something that make them go, oh, I haven't heard that in a long time, and they'll sit back and they'll listen. It'll be something fresh. You want to be fresh. You want to be authentic. You need to be yourself, but you want to be fresh as you can be with whatever song you choose. Hope that answered your question.
Thanks, Kevin.
Sure.
Can you tell us a little bit about your career path and maybe some shows that you've been in and some other, you know, acting opportunities that you've done?
Okay. I know Taylor very well, everybody. As I said, I graduated Northwest High School in Omaha. And I pursued college at Chapman College in Orange, California, which is now Chapman University. I majored in performing arts, and I minored in architectural design. However, I left school because I booked a chorus line as my first professional job. I left school after a year and a half, but I finished my degree while I was on tour, which was very, very hard back then because we didn't have computers. We had typewriters. So I had to type in all my papers, mail them in, get it back, for the next 2 years. I finished my degree that way. I toured for a while with the chorus line. I did other tours. It brought me into New York eventually. My Broadway debut was a show called Leader of the Pack, which was absolutely awful, but I made my Broadway debut in it. We ran maybe 3 months. The course of my career since then, I'm now working on my 9th Broadway show, so I'm very proud of that. Musical comedy has been very, very good to me. However, television and film is more so what I've been pursuing in the last, 5, 6, 7 years or so. And I always wanted to be an actor. And so that is where my path has taken me now. There have been quite a few television shows that I've done a guest spot on, or a one-line on, or a guest spot or recurring roles. And right now, as you know, everything is shut down, so we're all waiting to see what happens next. But that is my trajectory for the most part for my future. There are a couple of things that I do have an iron in the fire for in terms of musicals that can't talk about right now. We'll see what happens. I see you, Taylor. We'll see what happens with those. And for those of you that don't know, the current show that I'm in right now is Moulin Rouge. And I'm an original cast member, and I've been working on that from the workshop period, which is almost 3 years ago now. And we've been running on Broadway coming up on a year in May. I'm sorry, June will be a year. We started rehearsal again for Broadway in May. And prior to that, we did the Boston out-of-town tryout. And prior to that was the workshop here in New York for 6 weeks. Does that catch everybody up?
I think so. What was the audition process like for Moulin Rouge and the workshop process?
Uh, I only had, well, I would say one, but I only had one session of auditions for Moulin Rouge, and that was for the workshop. Um, oh, I was called in, my agent called and said, yeah, they want to know if you're interested in Moulin. And I said, in what capacity? And they said, well, you'd be in the ensemble, but they want you to stand by for Ziedler and for Lautrec. And I thought, oh, that could be fun. Why not? So I did that audition. I worked on, they sent me 3 scenes, uh, one for Ziedler, which is this whole monologue, actually, it's like 3 pages for the opening. And in Lautrec, 2 scenes, one of which when he sings Nature Boy, which is a very touching moment in the show. But one is with a British dialect, and the other is with a French dialect. I had 2 days to learn the monologues, the 3-page monologue, and then the Lautrec monologues, as well as the Lautrec song. Oh, and there was an opening song I had to learn. At that time, it was Uptown Funk. Bruno Mars's Uptown Funk, and they changed some of the lyrics just slightly in it. I did not know the lyrics of the song. I went, wow, these are the lyrics? Okay. So I had to learn that, and then singing Nature Boy, which is completely opposite style of that. So I looked at the material and I thought, what are they looking for? They want to see my versatility, considering these 2 roles are completely different from one another. And the material is completely different from one another in terms of the songs themselves. So I needed to focus in on all of that. I did as much research as I could in this short amount of time to find out more about the real Harold Ziedler and about Toulouse-Lautrec and Paris at this point of 1899, so that I'd be prepared mentally, so to speak, in terms of what the era was like. I did my first audition, and I felt pretty good about it. We started off with doing the Ziedler monologue, which is the opening, welcome to the Moulin Rouge and all of that. Did that, and finished that when he goes, that was great. Let's go to Lautrec. I went, okay, fine. So we went to the Lautrec scene, and then the music started. And I thought, oh, I guess I'm going to sing the song now because the song comes straight out of the scene. So we went straight into the song. No one told me that we're going to do this. Went straight into the song. And he said, great, go back into the opening number, which was Uptown Funk. I went, okay. So we did Uptown Funk, and he went like this. He said, continue, go into the monologue. So we went back into the monologue again, straight out of Uptown Funk. The idea was, how quick can I change? He gave me some notes. Did it all again. It was great. I felt good about it. I went, okay. He said, nice work, well done. Left. I had a call back for that, I think it was a week later, and went through that whole process again. But this time it was just one time through everything, and it was in order as opposed to having to bounce from British to French, French back to British. And it was more focused, which was great. And the panel was there, meaning the first time I auditioned, oh, I'm sorry, there was a dance audition too for Sonia Taille. I forgot about that part. Yeah. I can't remember where that fit in. I think that was my first point was with her. See how well I moved. Yes, it was with her to see how well I moved. And then was the first audition with Alex Timbers. And then the callback with the panel. And when I say the panel, I mean, there were, trying to go back to my memory, maybe 18 people there, which you don't know until you walk in the room and you go, okay, take it in, focus, you got to do your gig. And my first line is, where would you like to start? Because there's a lot of material to do.
Awesome. We have a great question from Sydney. Do you have to get involved with a talent agency to get anywhere?
No, you do not have to be involved with a talent agency to get anywhere. It may be a bit more difficult. Auditions are always posted on the equity board. There's always the breakdowns on Actors Access. So you have access to the auditions for non-union. They will always see as many non-union people as they can. They will see the union people first that do not have an appointment through their agents. If at all possible, it's great to be able to work through an agent to get you an appointment, so you're not doing the general call. It's not impossible. It's more difficult without an agent.
Great. And then to kind of piggyback on top of that, Emily has a great question to talk about. You talked about the casting posts on Actors Access, Actors Equity. What recommendations do you have for online auditions? So I think this one would be if you had to audition like this online for some folks. So you found an audition, but because of the situation at hand, they said, hey, can you do this via webcam or on a microphone, that kind of thing. If you had to audition online, how would you do that?
Doing a self-tape. Okay, for a self-tape, you most likely follow the directions that they have for their self-tape, whether they want you to slate or not, and how they want you to slate, whether it be your name, the profile, the full body shot, how much they want you to be cropped into the shot, whether it's close up or whether it's 3/4 from the torso up, or if it's full body. Follow their directions. Your background. I always find like a bluish gray background works great because they see you pop. Make it as plain a background as you possibly can. No pictures, no photos, no mirrors, and all this stuff like I have in my house behind you for distraction. There was a casting director I was talking with recently, and he was talking about a self-tape that someone sent him from, I think they were in Australia, perhaps. It was for a film, and he said he did it out on his balcony, and the background was Australia with the trees and the beach and all this. And he goes, I was so distracted looking at all the stuff around him, and I want to be there, that he said I didn't see what he auditioned. I asked him to please reshoot it and stand in front of a wall. The actor got the job, but he was so distracted by everything else that was surrounding him. Make your background as clean and as nothing as possible, so that you will stand out from it. But more importantly, follow the directions of what that casting office is looking for, what that casting director wants in terms of how to present your self-tape. Make sure you have great lighting and great sound so that everything is clear, so they're not struggling. If you're reading sides, we're in a new era right now because of everything being shut down. If you are locked up in your home by yourself, how do you have someone read with you? You can do it through Zoom, have somebody Zoom talking while you're performing. You can do it by phone, have them put them on speakerphone. Find a way to do that. If necessary, and this is always risky, you can record the other lines and play them while you're delivering the lines. The timing on that is really, really tricky. I don't advise that one unless you can get it really, really good and be right on top of it. What else? I'm trying to think. Oh, I know there's something else I'm not telling you, and I can't think of what it is right now. Maybe it'll come to me, but I hope that helps.
Absolutely. And I think to go along with that, Kevin, we've had to, we've seen a lot of folks when they submit like video auditions for nationals, like they would do every single year. We would get a bunch of video auditions in. And I think we can all speak from experience when we see those that one, we understand the technical limitations of trying to record yourself or even trying to live stream yourself in a performance. So we understand, if the music isn't the most perfect thing it can be, we really are able to see your performance, how well you connect to the piece, how well you sound, basically all the advice that Kevin has given to our three performers are things that is what they'll be looking for, regardless of whether or not it's via webcam or live in person.
Right.
And before we go and you have a couple minutes to get your last quick questions for Kevin, I had a question for Lauren, Sierra, and Drew really quickly, just so that you can share your experience. Do you have any tips on auditioning or picking a college that suits best what you want to do? And any of you can answer in any order, but I just wanted to ask that question in case we have some juniors or seniors that are still auditioning for schools and trying to pick one out.
Yeah.
Hi everyone. Oh, Lauren, please.
Okay, so I went to Chicago Unifieds for college auditions, which is a big conference. Tons of schools are there, which is something I really recommend just because you can get all of your auditions knocked out in like 3 days. It's a bit of a stressful experience, but it allows you to then enjoy your senior year of high school, because traveling for auditions gets really stressful and expensive. So, but I think the biggest thing is like researching those schools that you're interested in as much as you can. And then go through the acceptance process. And if you're accepted to these schools, then if at all possible, visit, because that was what really got me to pick my schools, that I was able to sit in on their classes and experience what life would be like on campus there. And that was what made me realize that, okay, this is something I can do. And these are also people that I want to surround myself with. So I think just knowing as much as you can about the schools you're considering is going to make the decision process so much easier, for sure.
Sierra, go ahead.
So I think it's really important to understand that every school is different for every person, and that there is no one school that is somehow like superior and is gonna like make sure that you're on Broadway. Every school has its merits. Every school has pros and cons. And so I think that, like Lauren said, it's really important to research and to also know what you want personally. Some people want like a liberal arts program. Some people want a conservatory. Some people want to go to football games. It's important to understand that all of your needs as a student and as a performer are both valid, and that there is a school out there that will work for you and will be your fit. It just it might not be the certain names that you hear about all the time. The other thing is I actually, so I did Chicago Unified like Lauren, and I went through that insane process, but the school that I attend, the Boston Conservatory, I did a video audition for. So I didn't need to spend all that money, but it's fine. But when you're doing a video audition, I think what's important is to really just choose material that you connect to, because there just are those technical difficulties and implications, but really just choose material that you connect to and that will read via camera, and you'll be all set.
And Drew.
So I did not go to Unifieds. I auditioned around locally. And last year I attended the University of Central Missouri. And, you know, I was going through the year and I realized that I wanted to be close to my family, and that Nebraska Wesleyan was a good school, and that was the right school that I felt that I could grow. And I grew at UCM as well. I grew there a lot. And one of the big reasons why I went to UCM were the people. And they were a big part of why I went there. And I think just being able to surround yourself with the right people, and people that will push you and people that accept you is a huge part of your decision making. You know, make those connections with those people, make connections with the faculty. Are these the kind of people that you want to surround yourself with and that you can make connections with? Because this area of study it's so vital that you make connections in this area of study. And so also with the actual audition process, when and with any audition really, just kind of a general thing, like, just remember that those people in front of you or behind a table or wherever they are, they want you to succeed.
Mm-hmm.
They want you to be the best that you can be. They want you to be successful. They want to see you. You might be the person that they're looking for. And so it's just so vital to make connections and to know that when you find the right college, you'll know. So yeah, those are my kind of things.
Thanks so much. Yeah,
Well
thanks,
done.
Drew. Thanks, Drew, Sarah, and Lauren, for sharing that wonderful knowledge with students who may be, you know, auditioning for college as we speak. Kevin, do you have anything to add to what the three of them said?
Not really. Everything
All
that
right.
they said is so right on point. People behind the table, they want you to be the one. They're in your corner. Give them your best. Give them your best and be you. Because they want to see a part of you and how you will inhabit the role. So yeah.
Oh, do we have time for just one more question, Kevin? Is that okay?
Sure.
Perfect. We have a question from Lauren, and she is going into a stage management program and has to take an acting class. So do you have any suggestions for people who may not love acting and singing in front of people as much and maybe aren't as comfortable with that or haven't done it before?
Oh, shake it off. You can do it. I mean, there are so many challenges you're going to have in your life. If this is the challenge, this is nothing. Just put it out of your mind and go for it. Just give it all you've got and just trust. Yeah. Just dive in.
Amazing. Thanks so much. Well, Kevin, we so appreciate having you today and for, giving your expertise and feedback to the students and talking about the audition process and everything. We're so grateful that you took the time to be with us, students of the Nebraska High School Theater Academy and us at Omaha Performing Arts. So we just wanted to thank you. And is there anything else before we go?
Well, yes. I want you to remember that the show will go on. This is only an interlude. I and all the performing arts staff look forward to seeing you all here again very soon. Until then, take care, stay healthy, stay safe, and we'll all be back together again soon. All right?
It's so true. Thanks, Kevin. Thanks again, everybody.
Thank you.
And thank you, Kevin. And if you want to check out any of our other digital resources that we have online, just go ahead and pop over to www.o-pa.org/online. You can see what other digital resources we have and ways that you can support our mission. So thank you, everybody. Thank you, Kevin. Thank you, Lauren, Sierra, and Drew for being here. We appreciate it. And we'll see you all soon.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Thank you so much.
Have a great day. Wash your hands.
All right. And we are.
And we're done.
3 left, yeah.
Is it just us?
It's just
Okay.
us.
Okay.